Have you ever wondered about the power and influence that dukes wield in the United Kingdom? Let's take a step back in history and explore the enigma of aristocracy, specifically the concept of dukedoms. In the annals of British history, dukedoms are the highest titles in the land, standing tall above marquessate, earldoms, viscounties, and baronies. This title is steeped in prestige and power, often associated with wealth, land, and influence that stretches back hundreds of years. The roots of dukedoms trace back to the Middle Ages, where they were often bestowed upon members of the royal family and close allies of the monarch. These titles were not merely decorative. They played a pivotal role in shaping the political landscape of the United Kingdom. Dukes were powerful figures, often ruling over vast territories and commanding great respect and loyalty from their subjects. Fast forward to the contemporary British society and you'll find that dukedoms have evolved yet still hold a significant place. Although their political power may have waned with the advent of democracy, dukes continue to exert considerable influence in other spheres. They are often custodians of vast estates, heritage sites, and cultural treasures. Their roles often extend into the realms of charity, conservation, and community leadership. More than just a title, being a duke in the United Kingdom carries with it a weighty legacy. It is a role that comes with responsibilities, expectations, and a sense of duty towards upholding traditions and preserving heritage. Despite the changing times, dukedoms remain an integral thread in the fabric of British society, a testament to the enduring allure of aristocracy. So is the world of dukes merely a relic of the past, or does it still hold relevance in the 21st century? What does the future hold for these custodians of history and heritage? Join us as we delve into the fascinating world of dukes in the United Kingdom. The tale of dukes in the UK begins in the medieval times. As we delve into the annals of history, we find the birth of dukedoms during the tumultuous period of the Middle Ages. It was the 11th century, a time when the concept of nobility was beginning to take shape. The creation of the first dukedoms was a strategic move, a response to the need for a structured hierarchy in a society that was rapidly evolving. The first dukedoms were created by the monarchy, a gesture of appreciation for loyalty and service to the crown. And who were the recipients of these inaugural titles? They were men of power and influence, warriors who had proven their mettle in battle, and advisors who had guided the kingdom through crises. These were the men who laid the foundation for the dukedoms we know today. The role of these early dukes was multifaceted. They were not merely figureheads, but key players in the political, military, and social spheres. A duke held significant sway over his region, managing lands, collecting taxes, and maintaining order. In times of conflict, it was the duke who rallied his men and led them into battle. He was a leader, a protector, and a representative of the monarchy, all rolled into one. The bestowal of these titles was not an arbitrary process. It was a careful selection dependent on the individual's allegiance to the crown, his capabilities, and his social standing. The conferred title was a badge of honor, a testament to the individual's contributions to the kingdom. It was a mark of distinction that set them apart, elevating their status and solidifying their position in the societal hierarchy. The creation of the first dukedoms was a significant milestone in the UK's history. It was the dawn of a new era where titles and territories became synonymous with power and prestige. The dukedoms were more than just a ceremonial aspect of the aristocracy. They were a reflection of the societal structure of the time. The establishment of dukedom marked a new era of aristocracy in the UK. It was a time when the concept of nobility was not just about bloodlines, but about merit, allegiance, and service to the kingdom. It was the dawn of dukedoms. As centuries rolled by, dukedoms evolved, adapting to the changing societal norms. As the world moved forward, so did the dukedoms. From the Middle Ages through the Renaissance, the Age of Enlightenment, and into the modern era, the roles, responsibilities, and privileges of dukes and duchesses underwent significant transformations. In the Middle Ages, dukes held vast territories, wielded military power, and had the authority to administer justice within their dukedoms. They were the king's right hand, entrusted with the protection of the realm and the maintenance of order. Their lives were marked by chivalry, feasts, hunts, and warfare. With the dawn of the Renaissance, the role of dukes started to shift. The focus moved from military might to culture and learning. Dukes became patrons of arts, supporting artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Raphael. They built grand palaces and libraries and hosted lavish parties showcasing their wealth and refined tastes. During the Age of Enlightenment, dukes began to play a more political role. They were expected to be well-versed in statecraft, diplomacy, and the sciences. Many dukes took on the mantle of reform, pushing for changes in law, education, and society. The dukedoms became centers of intellectual discourse, fostering Enlightenment ideals of reason and progress. In the modern era, the roles of dukes and duchesses have further evolved. No longer wielding the power they once did, dukes today function more as symbolic figures, custodians of tradition and heritage. Their responsibilities include managing their estates, participating in charitable activities, and representing the monarchy at various events. Yet the prestige associated with dukedoms remains intact. Being a duke or duchess still carries a certain cachet, a nod to a bygone era of grandeur and nobility. The privileges, too, have morphed over time. Today, they may include exemption from certain taxes, the right to certain titles, and a place in the line of succession to the British throne. The dukedoms have indeed stood the test of time, molding themselves according to the changing times. From warriors to patrons of arts, political reformers to symbolic figures, dukes and duchesses have navigated the currents of history, ensuring the survival and relevance of dukedoms in the modern world. In the modern times, dukes still hold a prominent place in the British society. Though the world has transformed, the roles and responsibilities of dukes in the United Kingdom have evolved, not diminished. These modern dukes, far from being relics of a bygone era, have adapted to meet the challenges and demands of contemporary society. The dukes of today bear a heavy mantle of responsibility. They are custodians of vast estates, responsible for preserving and maintaining historical landmarks, ancient buildings, sprawling gardens, and priceless works of art. These are not just symbols of their personal wealth, but of the nation's heritage. Their roles extend beyond mere preservation. They are also tasked with the sustainable management of these estates, ensuring they continue to contribute to the local economy and community. But the influence of dukes extends beyond their estates. Many of them hold significant sway in the realm of politics, business, and charity. Their titles give them a platform, and they use this platform to champion causes close to their hearts, from environmental conservation to social justice. They sit in the House of Lords, contribute to policymaking, and often lead charitable organizations, making tangible contributions to society. In the sphere of culture, too, dukes have managed to maintain their relevance. They are patrons of the arts, supporting emerging artists, sponsoring exhibitions, and hosting cultural events. Their estates often serve as stunning backdrops for films and television series, further cementing their place in contemporary culture. Despite the changes brought about by the modern era, dukes have not been reduced to mere figureheads. They have redefined their roles, embraced change, and continue to wield influence in myriad ways. They have managed to strike a delicate balance between tradition and modernity, preserving the past while engaging with the present. So while the age of knights and castles may be long gone, the dukes of the modern era are far from irrelevant. They are, in fact, integral threads in the rich tapestry of British society, contributing to its vibrancy and diversity in their own unique ways. Despite the modernization, dukes have managed to carve out a unique niche for themselves. Dukedoms are not just about titles, but also about power and prestige. This statement captures the essence of the fifth scene we're diving into. What is power? What is prestige? And how do these elements intertwine in the complex tapestry of dukedoms? Power, in its simplest form, is the ability to influence. For dukes, this power extends far beyond their immediate sphere, reaching into the political, economic, and social structures of their realm. Historically, dukes wielded immense power, often serving as advisors to the monarch, holding sway over vast tracts of land and influencing policy and law. Even today, the power of dukes is not to be underestimated. While the political landscape has changed, dukes continue to hold considerable sway. Their voices are heard in the upper echelons of society, their decisions impacting everything from local economies to national policies. This influence is not always visible to the public eye, but it is nonetheless palpable to those who understand the subtle nuances of power dynamics. Prestige, on the other hand, is a less tangible concept. It is about reputation, about respect, about the awe that a title can inspire. The prestige of a dukedom is not solely derived from the power it holds, but also from the history, heritage, and honor associated with it. The title of duke carries with it centuries of tradition, tales of heroism and chivalry, and a sense of nobility that transcends generations. In the societal structure, dukes stand as symbols of continuity and tradition. They bear the weight of their ancestors' achievements and the expectations of future generations. The prestige associated with their title is a testament to their lineage's enduring impact, a tribute to the power they have wielded and the influence they continue to exert. This power and prestige, intertwined with history and tradition, form the backbone of a dukedom. They are the threads that weave together the past, present, and future, shaping the societal fabric in ways that are both subtle and profound. The allure of dukedoms is indeed captivating. Their power and prestige not only define the dukes themselves, but also shape the world around them. Dukes are not just aristocrats, they are the guardians of Britain's rich heritage. Indeed, the role of dukes extends far beyond titles and societal ranks. They play a significant part in preserving the historical richness of the United Kingdom, becoming the custodians of an illustrious past that has shaped the nation's identity. Throughout history, dukes have been instrumental in safeguarding Britain's heritage. Their grand estates are the living memoirs of a bygone era, narrating tales of the nation's past with every stone and artifact. These estates, often passed down through generations, are not merely homes, but repositories of history, culture, and tradition. Imagine the majestic halls, the elaborate gardens, the extensive libraries, and the art collections that each estate houses. Each one is a treasure trove of stories, a museum of sorts, preserving the legacy of the British aristocracy and the nation's past. But the role of dukes as guardians of heritage transcends their estates. Their contribution to society is equally significant. Many dukes have established trusts and foundations to ensure the preservation and promotion of the arts, culture, and history. They have also played a crucial role in supporting local communities, contributing to their development and prosperity. Moreover, dukes have often been the stewards of Britain's natural heritage. They have managed vast tracts of land, forests, and wildlife, ensuring their conservation for future generations. This stewardship reflects their commitment not just to their lineage, but to the larger cause of preserving Britain's natural beauty and biodiversity. Thus, dukes have emerged as key figures in the preservation of Britain's heritage. They have been the custodians of the nation's past, the caretakers of its culture, and the guardians of its natural beauty. Their role is far from symbolic. It is deeply entwined with the nation's identity, culture, and heritage. Dukes, in their unique way, have been the torchbearers of Britain's glorious past. They have preserved and protected the nation's heritage, ensuring that the echoes of Britain's illustrious history continue to resonate in the present and will continue to do so for generations to come. As we look towards the future, one can't help but wonder about the future of dukedoms. With the tide of societal norms and values ever changing, the question arises: what lies in store for these venerable institutions of prestige and power? The dukedoms, centuries-old pillars of aristocracy, are no strangers to change. They've witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the birth of nations, and the sweeping waves of industrial and technological revolutions. Yet they've managed to endure, adapting to the times while holding steadfast to their core values and traditions. But as we step into the uncharted territories of the future, the dukedoms face a new set of challenges. In an era that champions equality and questions privilege, the very concept of hereditary titles and inherited wealth is being scrutinized. How will the dukedoms navigate these turbulent waters? One possibility is that the dukedoms will continue to evolve, finding ways to reconcile their historic legacy with the demands of the modern world. They could use their considerable influence and resources to champion causes that resonate with the values of today's society. Environmental conservation, social justice, or cultural preservation could become the new battlegrounds for these old warriors of nobility. On the other hand, the dukedoms could face a decline, their relevance fading in a world that increasingly values merit over birthright. The grand estates and ancient titles might become relics of a bygone era, a reminder of a time when lineage defined status. Despite these uncertainties, one thing is clear. The dukedoms, with their rich history and storied past, are an integral part of our cultural tapestry. Whether they adapt and thrive or slowly fade into the annals of history, their legacy will continue to shape our society in ways both subtle and profound. Only time will tell whether dukedoms will continue to hold their charm or fade into oblivion. But for now, they stand, proud and resolute at the crossroads of history, poised for whatever the future may bring. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned about dukes. We began our journey exploring the enigma of aristocracy, a system that has been a cornerstone of British society for centuries. We delved into the origins of dukedoms, a concept that dawned with the Norman conquest in the 11th century. We discovered that dukedoms were initially military ranks, a title bestowed upon those who led armies and conquered lands. Moving forward, we traced the evolution of dukedoms, witnessing how they shifted from military ranks to markers of social status. We learned that over the centuries, dukedoms became less about battlefield prowess and more about lineage, heritage, and prestige. In our exploration of the dukes of the modern era, we found that these titles have morphed into symbols of nobility and influence. Dukes, once warriors, are now guardians of heritage and tradition, preserving the rich history of the United Kingdom. We also learned that modern dukes play a significant role in the country's economic and social fabric, owning vast tracts of land and influencing policy through their seats in the House of Lords. We then delved into the power and prestige associated with being a duke. We discovered that despite the democratic evolution of society, dukedoms still carry a considerable amount of influence, shaping the social and political landscape of the UK. Turning our gaze towards the future, we pondered the prospects of dukedoms in the 21st century. We speculated on how these ancient titles might adapt to the changing times, continuing to hold relevance in a rapidly evolving world. Throughout this journey, we've seen that the story of dukes is not just about titles and estates. It's a tale of power, prestige, and perseverance. It's about the guardianship of heritage, the influence on society, and the ever-evolving role of these venerable titles in modern-day Britain. The journey of dukes in the UK is indeed a captivating saga of power, prestige, and perseverance. The tale of dukes is not just a tale of aristocracy, but a legacy that has endured through centuries, shaping the contours of British society in ways more profound than one might initially perceive. The dukes, in their aristocratic splendor, have long been stewards of vast portions of the British landscape. Their stewardship has not only preserved the natural beauty of the United Kingdom, but has also safeguarded its historical heritage. The palatial homes, extensive gardens, and grand estates they maintain are living testaments to Britain's rich past, open for the public to relish and explore. But their legacy extends beyond the boundaries of their estates. The dukes have also played pivotal roles in shaping the socio-political landscape of the country. Through their influence in the House of Lords and their patronage of political parties, they have helped to steer the course of British history. Their decisions, their alliances, their rivalries have all left indelible imprints on the nation's narrative. Moreover, the dukes have contributed significantly to the cultural fabric of the United Kingdom. Their patronage of the arts and literature has fostered creativity and innovation, giving rise to countless masterpieces that have enriched the world. Think of the literary classics, the musical compositions, the iconic artworks that might not have seen the light of day without their support. And let's not forget the economic impact. The dukes, as major landowners and employers, have been key drivers of the British economy. Their investments in agriculture, industry, and real estate have generated wealth, created jobs, and fueled economic growth. So as we delve into the legacy of the dukes, it becomes clear that their influence is interwoven into the very fabric of British society. They are more than just figureheads of an ancient aristocracy. They are custodians of history, catalysts of culture, and architects of economic progress. Indeed, the dukes have left an indelible mark on the fabric of the United Kingdom. Their legacy is one that continues to shape the nation, and it's a legacy that shows no sign of fading. As we close the curtain on this journey into the world of dukes, we find ourselves standing at the edge of centuries, peering back into the grand tapestry of time. We've navigated the enigma of aristocracy, from the dawn of dukedoms to their evolution and emergence in the modern era. We've delved into the power, the prestige, the guarded heritage, and contemplated the future of these illustrious titles. We've learned that to be a duke is more than a title. It's a legacy, a heritage, an embodiment of a nation's history and culture. It's a story that stretches back through the ages, a tale woven with threads of power, wealth, influence, and responsibility. It's a role that has shaped and been shaped by the United Kingdom, inextricably intertwined with its past, present, and future. As we've traveled through the annals of history, we've seen the faces of those who've held these titles, the decisions they've made, the impact they've had. We've seen dukes who've stood as pillars of their communities, guardians of their lands and their people. We've seen dukes who've wielded power and influence, who've shaped the course of history, and we've seen dukes who've embraced the challenges of the modern era, adapting and evolving, yet still upholding the traditions and values of their forebears. Each duke, each dukedom, each story is a unique piece of the larger puzzle that is the United Kingdom. And as we've pieced together this puzzle, we've gained a deeper understanding, a greater appreciation of the rich tapestry that is the United Kingdom's history and heritage. So thank you for joining us on this journey, for taking the time to delve into the world of dukes. As we sign off, we leave you with a hint of what's to come. More stories, more journeys into the past, more explorations of the United Kingdom's rich heritage. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, history is always around us, shaping us in ways we can't even imagine.